Welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, my name is Philip and I'm a photographer based in the Midwest, and on this channel we talk about landscapes, nature, and traveling and how those go together. And in this video, I'm going to show you everything I know about radial filters. The radial filter is a local adjustment tool in Lightroom. Now, what's a local adjustment tool? There's local and there are global adjustments, right? And if you want a more detailed explanation of this, in my first video of this series about graduate filters, I talked about that, and I'll link that up here. Now, radial filters are a great way to locally adjust a specific part of your image that you may want to highlight, or let's just say do like a vignette or something like that. And what that's going to do is allow you to just affect and fine-tune a specific area of your image. Now, this is part 2 of my 3-part local adjustment series that we're going over on this channel. And if you want to stick around and get the whole series, go ahead and subscribe and hit the bell icon to get notified when I post these videos. So let's go ahead and jump into Lightroom and we can go over some examples to help you out. Okay, so I have already made some basic adjustments to exposure and contrast and things like that. And I'm pretty happy with the way this image looks. I'm not going to go into too much detail with the editing just for the purposes of this video. But what I'm looking at now is that, let's just say, I personally think that up here in this top right hand corner that the trees are a little dark, right? So I can go here and click on my radial filter and draw in about a circle about the size. I can elongate it if I want to. I can make it wider if I want to. I really have complete control of how I want this to be shaped, so I only affect the areas. You can turn it however you need to. Here you can see how I can, once this arrow shows up here on the corner, I can kind of turn and manipulate the shape and what it's being affected by that filter. So I'm going to go ahead and move that up over here on the trees. And now you see if I hover over this dot, the overlay of what I'm affecting will come up. Now I don't want that to be I want it to affect the trees, right? So I need the red to be on the inside of the circle. I can do that by pressing apostrophe. If you're interested in any more hotkeys, I'll go ahead and leave a link to that video here just to kind of speed up your workflow. That's apostrophe to invert your radial filter. Or you can go down here and it'll invert it for you, but that just takes a little bit more time. So I'm going to go back into this filter and I'm gonna go ahead and turn off that overlay. And now I can actually do some work on the inside of this image now. So if I want to brighten it up, I can just go do some exposure and maybe some shadows, and that keeps it from affecting the other parts of the image that I don't want it to affect. Another thing that I might see is that perhaps these mountains are just a little bit brighter than what I would like them to be. So I can manipulate this shape around the radial filter. I'm gonna go ahead and again apostrophe to invert it, and I'm gonna go ahead and let's drop the exposure just a little bit on that, so I can really hone in on that area. And again here, if I want to make another radial filter to highlight this grass down here that's in the foreground, and let's just say that I really want that to catch your eyes, so I'm gonna go ahead and bring up the highlights. And again, you can see I got a little bit lazy and it's affecting the outside of the image. So again, press apostrophe and now it's affecting the grass, and I can really highlight it in. So you can be a little bit more selective again with the range mask tool. I can go into color for this example and highlight the grass, and you'll notice that it will pull out a more selective
deal based on the color of the grass. I can also work that by luminance, but for now that is gonna be just fine. And I think that's okay. It makes the grass pop, kind of like what I was looking for. So some other examples on what you could do with the radial filter. Let's just say that I want to kind of fine tune this a little bit, just a little bit more. I can go ahead and go up to this brush tool and go down to erase, or you can also press Alt if you notice, and I can modify this radial filter. So if I press Alt, you'll see that it goes to the minus. So I can look and see what is being affected here because my luminance mask didn't do a great job. And I can go ahead and brush away some of this stuff off of the water that I didn't want to be affected by this filter, and make some more fine-tune adjustments. And that just looks a little bit better. So that's just a few quick examples on how you can use the radial filter to make adjustments to your photos. It definitely helps you highlight specific areas, like in your foreground, like the grass, or you know, just boost shadows or kind of lower some highlights and really target specific areas. And these are just kind of some ways that I would use the radial filter to do that. So definitely would highly recommend getting comfortable with these local adjustments.
So after watching this video, I hope that you have a better understanding of how to use radial filters to help you create better photos. And like I said, this is part 2 of a 3-part series in local adjustments. So be sure to subscribe and hit the bell icon so that you can get notified when part 3 of this series comes out. And this series is just going to work together to help you create better photos that you're happy with. So if you liked this video, go ahead and leave a like. I would appreciate it. It helps out the channel, and this video helps it reach more people. And if you have any comments about any of the examples that I went over, just leave them down in the comment section and I will get back to you. And as always, thanks for watching. Bye.